who the hell will win the Champions League this season? You know, the Europa League has always been known for underdog stories, but this season, even in this competition, well, let's be honest, we haven't had a real surprise anymore for a couple years. This season, hell yeah, we have surprises. I mean, one half of the bracket is literally full of surprise teams, and that's why I'm just as clueless as you guys. I have no idea who will lift this trophy at the end of the season. It is simply crazy. But crazy situations require crazy action, so in this video today, we will actually predict the Champions League winner 2023. I'm wearing the perfect outfit for that as well, so we're starting off with these 4 banger quarterfinal games. Benfica against Inter. None of these two teams were expected to even go through from their groups when we got that draw. I mean, let's be honest, most people said that Barcelona would finish above Inter and Juventus would finish above Benfica. I at least predicted Benfica to go through over these guys. But for most people, at best, these two would have been in the Europa League by now. Instead, one of them will now go to the semi-final of the Champions League. And even though many other decisions for me were very hard, but this one might just be the easiest choice. If you have watched these two clubs this season, then you will clearly know that Benfica are simply playing a much better football than Inter, despite the Nerazzurri having the stronger team on paper. But Roger Schmidt's Eagles from Lisboa, man, this season is just historical already. The loss of Darwin Núñez did not hurt them in the slightest, and they turned players into stars who were memes at best before for most people. Prime example, João Mario. Inter recently have a real problem scoring goals, and Porto were extremely unlucky to not knock them out. I'm saying in the first leg at the Estádio da Luz, it's going to be a 2-0 for Benfica. And then in the second leg at San Siro, Inter, well, they will score. But they will not go through 1-1, which means Benfica advance to the semis with a 3-1 win on aggregate. Before we now come to this banger right here, Pep and Haaland's Man City against Bayern, I just want to say thanks to Pooky for being the sponsor of this video, and it couldn't fit any better, because Pooky is a football prediction platform that I've been using since the start of 2023 now, and I am predicting the games here on Pooky. This is the platform. On there, you can predict the scores for all the top 5 leagues, plus Champions League, Europa League, and they'll also be adding international games very soon. You can prove your football knowledge, compete in the leaderboard with your mates, and the cool thing in my opinion is that on Pooky, you actually get more points if you make riskier predictions and they come true. So if I was to predict a 3-0 away win for Bayern at the Etihad here, you can see that I'd be getting 327 points. But if I predict a more likely 1-0 City home win, it would only give me 199 points. So that way you actually get rewarded for taking a little risk there. And despite it being completely free, the weekly winners still win actual cash prizes. And they'll also be adding their play and earn game soon, where you need one of these PookyBalls. And in that mode, the prize pools are even higher. But now let's predict this absolute banger. Man City against Bayern. I think we can agree that it's undoubtedly the highest quality game in this round. Both are currently only second in their league, need to catch up, but for both, the Champions League holds a much higher value than their domestic league. And that's what makes this so spicy, because you can be sure they're gonna neglect the league to put all their powers into these two games. So, well, we're in for a banger. Pep knows Bayern, Haaland knows how to score against Bayern, Cancelo knows City, Sané knows City. There's so many storylines here. You know what? This might not be popular, but I think at the Etihad, we are seeing a 2-2. I don't think City will lose at home. They also won the first leg against Real Madrid last season at home, but I also can't see Bayern not scoring. In the second leg, then, everything's still open at the Allianz Arena. This is such a tough choice, but I mean, Bayern haven't conceded a single goal in the Champions League this season at home. I think City will break that, but Bayern will win. 2-1 Bayern. Let's go. Bayern go through to the semifinals. And Man City's UCL dreams get shattered once again. Real Madrid against Chelsea. I have barely seen anyone except for the Chelsea fans who genuinely think that the Blues will advance against the 14-time Champions League winners and the current holders of the competition, which certainly on the one hand has to do with Chelsea's below average form this season. But even if we were talking about most other clubs, we all know about Real Madrid's certain UCL juju. I mean, we all know what happened when I went to Madrid for the second leg against City. The vast majority of people think Real Madrid will advance, and honestly, I agree. At the Bernabeu, I think 3-1 for Los Blancos. And in the second leg, Stamford Bridge. Can they turn it around? No, I don't think so. 1-0 for Real Madrid, which means 4-1 in aggregate. Once again, a Champions League semi-final for Carlo Ancelotti's boys. Before the season, who would have expected 2 Italian teams in the quarterfinals? Well, we've got even 3 now, and 2 of them are facing each other. Current Serie A champions Milan against future Serie A champions Napoli, who, to be completely honest, are playing one of the greatest seasons in the history of Italian football. Not liking it, but I have to give credit where it's due. And honestly, out of these 3 remaining Italian teams, Milan, for me, are the ones that I like the most or dislike the least. But I have to be fair and say that they are probably the worst out of these 8 remaining Champions League teams. Just behind Inter for me. Of course, anything can happen, but my prediction would personally be a 1-1 draw at San Siro in the first leg. And then in Napoli at the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona, I say Quarterfinals will be on the score sheet. 3-0 Napoli. That would mean we get these 2 semi-finals. Real Madrid against Bayern, an absolute banger. Last time these two met in the semis was in 2012. Bayern won that on penalties. And Napoli against Benfica, the 2 biggest underdogs of this season, meeting in the Champions League semi. Words cannot express how much I love the fact that we might get this, as these are only purely hypothetical games that we don't even know if we get them yet because the quarters haven't happened yet. I can't do much analysis. I'm gonna be quick, just using my gut feeling. Real Madrid against Bayern, pretty much on the same level. Real Madrid, of course, have that European spirit. They don't have a title race to fight anymore. Theirs is over. They're second. While Bayern still have to fight in a title race against Dortmund. So things speak for Real Madrid. But you know what? This guy right here, this gut feeling, tells me Bayern this time will decide it for themselves. And Napoli against Benfica reminds me somewhat of the Ajax against Benfica we saw last season, where everybody said, yo, Ajax are gonna go all the way this season. They are so crazy, biggest underdogs of the year. But Benfica knocked them out. At second glance, though, I say realistically, Benfica are class, but Napoli are just on another level this season. And I don't think that any of these three teams in their side of the bracket will stop them. The final for me is going to be Bayern against Napoli. Who would have thought, man? Napoli in their first Champions League final ever could win their first ever title, while Bayern are trying to catch up to Milan and win their seventh. You can be sure that if we get this final, all of us neutrals will be feasting. Offensive masterclass, man. Both of these teams attack like crazy. But for me, the winner after all will be Bayern. And there you have it, guys. My Champions League prediction 2023. Now it's your turn. Let me know yours. Of course, most importantly, the quarterfinals. Make sure you hit the first link in my description. Sign up to Pooky. Once again, you can predict for completely free, but still win prizes. It is a no-brainer. So do that and challenge me. Maybe you're gonna be better than me. And let me know your score predictions in the comments, baby. I'm hyped. I'll also try to catch at least one of these games in the stadium. So let's see what is possible. For now, prediction Fiago is out. Peace.